Well, guess who's back? The 95 Jeep Wrangler. Well, it's nothing that happened before. Yeah, I lost a board in my trailer. It happens. It had a front right brake caliper lock up on them as they were cruising around. It was a beautiful day. They had the top off, the doors off. So let's get into it. Figure out if it's a caliper or brake line. Well, it's back again. And if anybody hasn't watched the last video on this, this is a 1995 Jeep Wrangler 4.0 four-wheel drive, 5-speed. This thing is nice. It's very low mileage. I think it's like at a 83,000 now. But like I said a little while ago, my buddy was off riding in the county roads and whatnot, having a good old time with the doors off, tops off, and this passenger front tire locked up. And we're gonna test it to see if it's the brake line or if it's the caliper. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the jack, lift it up, and we'll get our peepers on it. We'll lift this Jeep up real quick. That's still a little free. Press the brake a couple times, see what it does. Wheel cylinders are working. Huh. Who knows? Well, it was definitely locked up on them because it was smoking whenever I picked it up. Or at least warm whenever I picked it up. Boy. It definitely got hot. The wheel's rolling away on me. It'll stop eventually. It's gonna hit my little lamp back there. Perfect. Anyways, everything looks good so far. It was definitely hot. I'm gonna go ahead and compress the caliper in and push it back out with the brake pedal and see if I can get it to lock up or something. Well, it's on there. Whew. Caliper bolt. It's definitely tight. Okay. Well, everything seems to be coming out all right. Boy, that rotor is raunchy looking. Definitely has some hot spots on the brake pads as well. Let's see if I can at least clamp this caliper in some. The sliders aren't locked up, so it wasn't because of the slider. I don't like using this method, but I don't have the correct brake caliper compressor. It doesn't have to go in very far though. It's going in with no issue. It's really weird. I don't know why it had brake line, or this brake lockup. Yeah, because I'm not twisting very hard. I have a new brake line for it anyways, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and possibly put the new brake line on, because for one, it's cheap. Two, that's basically the most common issue when it comes to the brake failures on these older vehicles, because the rubber deteriorates, it breaks down, swells inside, and the inside of the brake line, collapses. And so fluid can go through because it's high pressure, but whenever you let off the brake, there's not any pressure and not enough, I guess, rebound for it to go back up to the master cylinder. The last video that I worked on this thing, if you guys haven't watched it yet, I'll put the link in the description, but I went ahead and put these new shocks on all the way around. The old ones were shot. And I don't mean maybe. I didn't record putting in the steering damper, but I did put one of those on. I tightened up the Panhard bar brackets on both the front and rear. Did the shocks on, in the video, I put the shocks on the front and rear. Changed the oil. What else did I do? I've done quite a bit to this poor little Jeep. It was in dire need of some attention, which, just preventative maintenance, but those shocks were beyond in need of repair. I checked all the fluids, greased everything, and I fixed the exhaust. Not an exciting video, but I got a lot done that needed to be done. So I'm gonna put a lug nut back on to hold that rotor up straight. No, she's still released. Better safe than sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and replace this brake line. Now, the only reason why I'm really saying it could possibly be this brake hose, other than it being its age, it looks like it's fairly old. Plastic is showing a little wear and tear, little light cracks. This is the new one for this side, part number and everything. But when we first picked it up and I just got home with it, it did not want to roll. This wheel was locked up, and I broke the bleeder loose. It shot out tons of fluid, which meant that in this line, it had pressure somewhere still built up, and the moment I broke that loose, it rolled. So that's just my hypothesis on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock up the line so I don't make a ton of a big mess. Tons of a big mess. I can't speak today, if you guys can't tell. Put my rag down there so I'm not making me and brakes lately. I'm about had my fair share of breaks. But thankful for the work. I'm going to clean up this banjo bolt. I had to go up here to the top, see what size I need for the brake line. Fast forward, got the line up there, bolted in place, line tight. I'll let it come all the way back here to the back. Got it nice and, oh, I'm gonna double check it. It's good and tight. I'm gonna break this bleeder loose, let it drip a little bit, and then I'm going to attempt to bleed it by myself. Now that the brake bleeding is done, I at least want to test drive it before I make sure and tell them that they need one thing or if it's fixed. I know there's some hot spots on that rotor. It's not concerning because there's not a groove on it, it's just hot, or had some hot spots. But I have not got to test drive it yet to see if it's warped or anything, so as soon as I get back from a test drive, I will see if the rotors need turned And I mean, there's probably some glazing on it, but he said he did not go that far with it locked up. He immediately called me when it started smoking, said, hey, what should I do? And I'm like, stop, let it cool off. And I told him, I said, make sure there's no rocks in there. You know, because sometimes a rock in the brakes can cause it to lock up, but there's no signs of any grooves from rocks or anything. So, almost probably just a brake line. You know, it's pretty common on these older Jeeps. And that, if I can come get them, we'll take a look at it and go from there. Now, my buddy said that when he went underneath the Jeep to look and see what was smoking and blah, 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 he noticed that there was a little bit of an oil leak. And typical 4.0s, it's most likely a valve cover, but got a little flashlight here. Let's take a look. He said it's coming from around the oil filter. And if you look, I don't know if I can get you close enough. It is definitely wet. All along the block, the back of the valve cover, up here. So, I'm gonna call him up, tell him that's probably definitely gonna need a valve cover gasket, which is no big deal. I mean, that would be pretty sweet and simple. Throw one in real quick, degrease the engine after we get the new one in, pressure wash it, let it dry. Should be good to go. I'm gonna double check the oil before we go on out. Everything else is good because it doesn't have that many miles on it since, I think it's got like 500 or 600 miles since I worked on it last. So I'm gonna check the oil, make sure it's good, and go for a quick test drive. Well, as you can see, the Jeep is out of my shop. Test drive went great. We did about 10 miles and heavy braking, light braking, everything was great. No shudder, no lockups. So I don't think anything else needs to be done with the brakes. Everything felt great. So, and I did top off the brake fluid. I know some of you guys are probably watching saying, you better top that off. It's topped off. Let's see. I already contacted my buddy about the valve cover gasket, so I'll be waiting to hear from him. Hey everyone, it's another day, back on the Jeep again. I got a hold of my buddy and he said, let's go ahead and slap a new valve cover gasket on. So I got this Fel-Pro gasket. It is the Permatex with the metal reinforcement. There's the part number for it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna go ahead and engine degrease it and just do a nice little pressure wash on the engine. So that way there's no more oil residue hanging around on the engine, so they don't have to worry about any oil leaks. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just time lapse pulling this valve cover off. It's pretty sweet and simple. It's a matter of disconnecting some hoses, removing throttle cable out of your way, coolant hoses out of your way, just unbolting the valve cover, cleaning up the mating surface, and then reinstall. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bust through this real fast, and then we'll get to the cleaning. Well, my goodness, it's holding. There we go. Now it's gonna clean up the mating surface. It actually looks like somebody put one of those Permatex gaskets on here once before. Let's see. Yeah, they sure did. But it sure was leaking a lot. I know you guys can't see or anything, but this gasket is hard as a rock. So that rubber was no longer good anymore. Now with the cleanest of the clean rags that I have, I'm gonna wipe up as much as I can, scrape off all that I can, and get ready to put this thing back together. Mating surface is all good and clean. New valve cover seal. Now it's time to clean the valve cover. There we have it. It's all back together. The new valve cover gasket is installed. It's kind of hard to see. It's down there. It's blue. So all I have left to do is, one, well, I gotta wash up my hands before I get in the Jeep. Two, I'm gonna go ahead and degrease both sides of the engine and pressure wash it and give them a call and let them know it's back and ready to go on some more dirt roads to enjoy the beautiful weather, because it is getting hot now. It might be because I'm in an oven of a shop with no insulation, so it gets warm in here pretty quick when it's nice and cool outside. But again, I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.